All right, everybody. Welcome back to Occult Perspectives. As you can see, this is going to be a much different styled video. We are going to be doing some readings from the Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind. Now this game, I've talked about it a little bit before on my YouTube channel, has a lot of esoteric lore. The people who, put together this game, they really kind of knew their occult research. And what I'm going to do in this video today is we are going to go to the main city in the game known as Vivec. And we are going to go to the library and just pick up some books, and I'm going to do some readings from them. So I thought this would be something that is just kind of different and fun. I wanted this to be a really casual video. I actually just finished, for the most part, the Master Mason degree, Chapter 8 for the Patreon. I just need to go through and edit it, and then I'll record the audio, and then it'll be ready for the Patreon. So I'd say maybe in another 4 days, hopefully, I'll have it up on the Patreon. So that as a side note, I'm really excited for that. But yeah, I just want to have some fun with this video, so I hope all of you enjoy. This is not my normal content. I don't have a camera specifically for video games, so I'm just kind of putting my phone on a stand. That way you can see it. And I'm going to go ahead and select my file. Everything might be kind of mirrored for you guys. Yeah. Well, I'm not sure. The way I see it on the camera now, the letters are backwards. But we won't be going too much off of visual. I'll just be going to the library, and then I'll find some books. Now, this game came out in like 2002. So I had a lot of nostalgia when it comes to this game, because I had never played a game that was so open world before. And this world's, it's pretty big. It's pretty massive. You've got the main continent. Let me see if I can pull it up. This is what's known as Vardenfell, this giant island. And then there's another island you can go to that's called Solstheim up there in the corner. And then there's even a capital you can go travel to, which has its own map. So pretty extensive game. It's really large. My character, let's see, where am I located? I'm the small little arrow right here, if you can see it. I'm moving around it there. So I actually need to get to Vivec, which I can actually teleport there if I use a certain ring. So we'll go ahead and teleport to the city. Everybody's trying to talk to me at once. So that's glass armor that I'm wearing right there currently. I have some nice Daedric armor. I've got a couple different really nice sets of armor, but I'm just wearing this glass armor right now so I can move around a little bit easier because it takes weight into account in this game. So it'll slow your character down if you're wearing like really heavy armor or too many items. Okay, so let's try to find the library is what I'm looking for. I believe we want to go to the Hall of Wisdom. There's a Hall of Justice and a Hall of Wisdom. Hall of Wisdom. Hopefully I don't get any copyright problems with this video. I mean, there's lots of videos on Morrowind that are way higher quality, so I don't know why this video would really get marked for that, but you never know. Okay, we are at the library now. I'm gonna go and try and pick out a book. As you can see, there's all kinds of bookshelves around here. There's another bookshelf, another one, and it goes all the way around. Ah, get out of the way. Had to jump over everybody. And here's some more bookshelves. So plenty of material to pick from in this area. It's definitely one of the locations that has more books, as far as I know. Turn the music down a little bit. Might kind of get in the way of the narration just a little bit. And so there's what's known as like the tribunal gods in this game, and they're actually like false gods. They're really powerful mortals, but they basically faked themselves as gods, and yeah, it's a whole thing. So let me try to find a book that would be appropriate. Here, we've got Reflections on Cult Worship. All these books right here are the same. Special Flora of Tamriel. So if you're into like the flowers and stuff, the plants, you could read that. Some of them are more about just stories in general. There's Invocation of Azura. So some are more about the deities and the lore of the land, and then sometimes you just get stories. Let's go ahead and start with Reflections on Cult Worship. Reflections on Cult Worship in the Empire. From the correspondence of Crucius Plicia, imperial trader, writing from the Vos Trade House in Vardenfell district, province of Morrowind. I have noted that Heartlanders like myself, and assimilated imperial citizens of other races, tend to impersonal and formal relationships with their gods and spirits. So already right here we see like the personal connection with the deity. Each of these races and groups having usually their own group of deities. And the imperial cult is a whole group that worships the divine nines, or the nine divines, I think it is. And they're kind of like creator. They helped create the world, and they're somewhat involved in the affairs of mortals. They kind of lend assistance when they can, as far as I understand. The lore is pretty extensive, so let's go ahead and continue. For us, cults are first and foremost social and economic organizations. Interesting. We typically think of the 8 divines in the most abstract terms, as powerful but indifferent spirits to be propitiated, and do not think of their relationships as personal. So he's noting them here as impersonal divine forces. Interesting. Notable exceptions include minor charismatic subcults of Akatosh and Dibella. The imperial cult of Tiber Septim, who is the emperor, also has a significant charismatic subcult. With the exception of the Elysian Order, which Heartlanders regard as a dark age, religious cults have played only minor parts in Heartlander and Imperial history. The Septim Emperors have made it a policy to limit the influence of cult authorities in aristocratic, military, and bureaucratic affairs. Cult worship is regarded as a private and practical matter, and public pronouncements by religious figures are not welcomed. Interesting. So it just goes on to kind of talk about the customs of cult worship a little bit. I think we can find something a little bit more interesting. I think I saw over here the Book of Daedra. Okay, so this is a good one. So you have the Aedra and the Daedra in the Elder Scrolls series, and the Aedra are kind of like the angels. They're more quote-unquote benevolent, and I think they helped with the assistance. They helped and assisted in the creation process, while the Daedra are a little more notorious for getting into trouble and creating mischief and chaos in the mortal realm. So let's go ahead and read this. This is the Book of Daedra. These are excerpts from this lengthy tome describing the nature of each of the Daedra. So you have Azura, and Azura is actually considered one of the benevolent Daedra. She's like the main deity that you're kind of working with in this game, the Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind. Azura, whose sphere is dusk and dawn, because her she has the sun and moon are her emblem, so that's kind of like a little Freemasonic right there. Azura, whose sphere is dusk and dawn, the magic in between realms of twilight, known as Moonshadow, mother of the rose and queen of the night sky. So anything associated with like moon goddess type energy as well, like Isis and all of those, probably have a strong correlation with the archetype of Azura in this game. Boethia is a lot more malicious, so this would be more like you would think more demonic type energies. Boethia, whose sphere is deceit and conspiracy and the secret plots of murder, assassination, treason, and unlawful overthrow of authority. So yeah, that's one of the more violent Daedra. Let me see if I want to read all of these or just a few select ones. Yeah, I'll kind of skip around. We have Moloch Baal, you know, the Canaanite, like the Canaanite god Baal, whose sphere is the domination and enslavement of mortals. Interesting. Whose desire is to harvest the souls of mortals and to bring mortals' souls within his sway by spreading seeds of strife and discord in the mortal realms. So that's what we were kind of talking about a minute ago. Kind of like just spreading this chaos and such. I guess I gotta turn this music up a little louder. See if there's any other like really interesting ones. Malakoth sounds kind of like Moloch a little bit, whose sphere is the patronage of the spurned and ostracized, the keeper of the sworn oath and the bloody curse. Interesting. Spurned and ostracized. Let's see. Namira, whose sphere is the ancient darkness. So like the primordial Daedra, or the primordial chaos, that feminine original chaos energy, known as the spirit Daedra, ruler of sundry dark and shadowy spirits associated with spiders, insects, slugs, and other repulsive creatures which inspire mortals with an instinctive revulsion. So you almost kind of get like the dark goddess energy there, almost like a Lilith vibe, or like Satariel's energy on the Clepothic tree. Let's see. This is an interesting quote right here. Yet though Malakoth, we talked about Malakoth at the beginning, or no, yeah, we did cover Malakoth. The keeper of the sworn oath and the bloody curse. Yet though Malakoth blessed Scourge to be potent against his Daedric kin, he thought not that it should fall into Daedric hands, then to serve as a tool for private war among Caitiff and Forsaken. Thus did Malakoth curse the device such that, should any dark kin seek to invoke its powers, that a void should open and swallow that Daedra and purge him into oblivion's void streams, from thence to find back to the real and unreal worlds in the full order of time. So as you can see, a lot of these books, yeah, they get, you know, pretty esoteric and occult. Let's take a little look around further, see if we find anything else interesting. This isn't going to be a super long video. I'll probably just go about 30 minutes at the most, so hopefully you can hear me all right. I am sitting right next to the phone here. Darkest Darkness. Found a house deed on the shelf. That's kind of cool. The Firmament. I think that's all the star signs that you can be in this game, so that's kind of cool. They're a lot different than like the zodiac signs, but it's kind of the same concept. And each character has they can pull power from one of these signs depending on when they were born. So you get to choose that at the beginning of the game. Like the Warrior, for instance, let's read this. The Warrior is the first guardian constellation, and he protects his charges during their seasons. The warrior's own season is last seed, when his strength is needed for the harvest. His charges are the lady, the steed, and the lord. So it's almost kind of reminiscent of like tarot too. Those born under the sign of the warrior are skilled with weapons of all kinds, but prone to short tempers. So you get like a boost when it comes to skill with weapons, physical combat. Then you have the mage, the thief, etc. So that's kind of a cool book. Darkest Darkness, I don't remember what that's about. That's actually sounds like a really neat book. We'll come back to that one. Darkest Darkness. House of Troubles. The Book of Dawn and Dusk. What's that one about? That's kind of has some verses, like a poem almost. Kind of reminds me of Psalms or something like that. Let's see. Mysterious Akavir. So this book's really kind of about the Akavir. I think that's the dragon energy. So that book could be kind of interesting. I think I'm going to go back to The Darkest Darkness, though. That seemed like an interesting book to read. I'm just kind of checking to see if there's any other Aedra and Daedra. So here we go. The designations of gods, demons, Aedra and Daedra are universally confusing to the layman. This book's called Aedra and Daedra. They are often used interchangeably. Aedra and Daedra are not relative terms. They are elvish and exact. Azura is a Daedric both in Skyrim and Morrowind. Aedra is usually translated as ancestor, which is as close as Cyrodiilic can come to this elven concept. Daedra means roughly not our ancestors. Okay, interesting. This distinction was crucial to the Dunmer, whose fundamental split in ideology is represented in their mythical genealogy. Aedra are associated with stasis. Daedra represent change. Okay, that makes sense because demonic energies are kind of more catalytic in nature. And Aedra, or angels, kind of help more with your peace of mind as you're working through things. They bring that calmer energy. Aedra created the mortal world and are bound to the earth bones. Interesting. Daedra, who cannot create, have the power to change. So they're just constant catalyst makers. They don't really like create or form. So that kind of right there does explain the difference between angelic and demonic energies, which we've talked about before. Demons bringing the more destructive catalytic energies, while the angels can help you project out and manifest. As part of the divine contract of creation, the Aedra can be killed. That's interesting, though. Witness Lorcan and the Moons, the Protean Daedra, for whom the rules do not apply, can only be banished. Interesting. So that's a pretty short book that we were able to read through. The Affairs of Wizards. So that's about Telvanni, which is the house related to wizards. I've got a couple more bookshelves to check out here, and then I'm going to go back and read Darkest Darkness, I think. Got a book on Vivek, or I don't know if it's Vivek or Vivek, how that's pronounced. Lives of the Saints. I was actually wondering about the different saints and what their differences were, so this book would actually be good for me to read. I think I'm going to hold off on that for now, though. The Arcturian heresy. Of course, the Arcturian term coming from like the starseed stuff. I think this reads kind of a hard one, though. It's really long, and it's not as interesting as you'd think. But the title of the book is definitely really interesting. Let's go over here. Those guys are creepy. Got the Pilgrim's Path. My journal updated. Okay, I guess I have to go to all of these different shrines. I thought maybe I had done that quest already, but maybe not. Anyway, Constellation of Prayer, Invocations of Azura. So this book's all about Azura, so that is interesting in and of itself. And you can actually, if you want to read any of these books, even if you don't have the Elder Scrolls game, you can go online and just type in all Elder Scrolls books, and I think you can read all of them for free. So that's kind of a cool thing. Okay, Darkest Darkness. I'm gonna go ahead and read this book. It's like 7.5 pages long. So I'll go ahead and read this book and then I will end the video. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, if you're not already subscribed, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel, like the video, and ring the notification bell if you want to be notified of any new videos. So I want to get some more YouTube videos to you guys soon. I've been working really hard on the book and stuff. So yep, I'll get back at it with some videos for you guys. I'm excited. Darkest Darkness. In Morrowind, both worshippers and sorcerers summon lesser Daedra and bound Daedra as servants and instruments. Most Daedric servants can be summoned by sorcerers only for very brief periods within the most fragile and tenuous frameworks of command and binding. This fortunately limits their capacity for mischief, though in only a few minutes most of these servants can do terrible harm to their summoners as well as their enemies. Worshippers may bind other Daedric servants to this plane through rituals and pacts. Such arrangements result in the Daedric servant remaining on this plane indefinitely, or at least until their bodily manifestations on this plane are destroyed, precipitating their supernatural essences back to oblivion. I like the wording on that. Whenever Daedra are encountered at Daedric ruins or in tombs, they are almost invariably long-term visitors to our plane. Likewise, lesser entities bound by their Daedra lords into weapons and armor may be summoned for brief periods, or may persist indefinitely, so long as they are not destroyed and banished. The class of bound weapons and bound armor summoned by temple followers and conjurers are examples of short-term binding. Daedra artifacts like Mehrunes' Razor and the Mask of Clavicus Vile are examples of long-term bindings. So yeah, I think I'm gonna go ahead and hold off on reading the rest of that. And I'll go ahead and read a little bit of I think the book on the saints, which was over here in the corner. Lives of the Saints. If you would be wise, model your lives on the lives of the saints. I did want to read about Saint Nerevar. Oh, Saint Nerevar is not even in there? That's kind of strange. I thought he was considered one. Oh, he's the first one. Wow. I just didn't read the first one. If you would learn valor, follow Saint Nerevar, the captain, patron of warriors and statesmen. And this is who you're actually a reincarnation of in this game. Spoiler alert, you end up being the reincarnation of Nerevar. Lord Nerevar helped to unite the barbarian Dunmer tribes into a great nation, culminating in his martyrdom when leading the Dunmer to victory against the evil Dwemer and the traitorous House Daggeth in the Battle of Red Mountain. If you would learn daring, so you see kind of that martyr type energy there, of course. If you would learn daring, follow Saint Veloth, the pilgrim, patron of outcasts and spiritual seekers. So this is a different patron here, or saint. Patron of the outcasts and spiritual seekers. Saint Veloth, prophet and mystic, led the Dunmer out of the decadent home country of the Somerset Isles and into the promised land of Morrowind. So he's like, almost sounds like a Moses type guy. Saint Veloth also taught the difference between the good and bad Daedra and won the aid of the good Daedra for his people while teaching how to carefully negotiate with the bad Daedra. So very interesting. If you would learn reverence, follow Saint Lothus, the pious patron of tailors and dyers. Interesting. Contemporary and companion of the tribunals and the best-loved Alma Rula of the tribunal temple, he formulated the central rituals and principles of the new temple faith. Saint Lothus is the symbolic mortal bridge between the gods and the faithful and the archetypal priest. Very interesting, and we will go ahead and end the video there. Thank you everyone for watching, and I will see you very soon. Peace and blessings.